Thank you, Agus Fáilte. Hi, hello, and welcome. It is John O'Sullivan from the Irish Pagan School, and we are here with this week's check-in chat and coffee talk. So, the topic today is one that actually came up in my fireside mentoring group, which I'm doing for the first time ever over at the Irish Pagan School, and it's this idea, or well, it's this well-recognized circumstance of it limiting beliefs. And I thought maybe we'd take a minute and talk about limiting beliefs and how they may apply to our spirituality. But before we do that, I'd like to invite you to pop on down into the description, grab on the link that you'll find there, which will allow you to get into our mailing list. The mailing list is where you get access to a lot of great free resources from us, but also make sure that you're kept up to date with what's going on at the Irish Pagan School and also the invites that we have going on and discounts from time to time as well. So the great resource to probably pick up right now is the Roots and Reverence, which is an exploration of your ancestry and how that might apply to your spirituality. And again, that doesn't specifically mean Irish DNA or Irish kind of grandparents, great grandparents, or whatever. So if you're interested, pop on down, grab the links that are there, or if you are listening along, it's irishpagan.school/roots. So, to go back to our topic there today, the concept of limiting beliefs. And it's something that I'm doing a bit of personal work on at the moment, which is why it's on my mind, which is why it came up in the mentoring group as well. And just to kind of touch on what it is, limiting beliefs are these kind of almost psychological structures or touch points or framework that we have and that we tell ourselves about ourselves, which in some way or another restrict us. And in some of those things, it's positive. Like, so when we talk about limiting beliefs, generally we're talking about negatives, things that inhibit us or that hold us back or restrict us from living to the largest amount of our potential or our ability in many shape or ways or forms. But there are another aspect to limiting beliefs which can be a little bit positive as we associate our framework with how we connect to each other. And so it came up in the group chat, as I said, this concept of limiting beliefs. And when we are young, we are handed a lot of standards, shall we say, standard rules, standard protocols. Our parents kind of provide stuff, our socioeconomic circumstances, our ethnicity, our culture, our upbringing. All of these things kind of are handed to us in our infancy, which we are told are the main structures, the framework about which we need to build our identity or build our connection with other people around us. So uh, we are well, actually, depending on how fundamental you want to get to it, we're told that we're a boy. We're told that we're a girl. We're told that, we have to stay quiet, like children should be seen and not heard. We're then told that, God loves us. And we're told that we have to pray or we're going to go to a nasty place when we die called hell. We are told that we shouldn't speak out. We're told that we need to put up and shut up. We're told that boys don't cry. We're told that, well, boys will be boys, whereas girls need to, definitely perform or act or be in a very certain way. All of these things that are given to us as we're forming our identity in a very early stage become these limiting beliefs, these kind of things that we hold as fundamentally true within ourselves unless we take the opportunity to question it. Now, this is not easy. And in many cases, when we talk about deepening our spiritual connection, you may have actually heard the term shadow work. Shadow work is it pretty much it's a psychological circumstance where you're approaching the shadow aspect of your identity, as defined by Carl Jung, a psychologist. And this concept of shadow is the things that kind of don't fit with us or things that we suppress or repress inside of ourselves, things we're not proud of, things we're not comfortable with. And limiting beliefs can be part of that framework. If we are holding on to or engaging with limiting beliefs, those become these prop up framework or structures of our identity or our psychology. And when our nature comes into conflict with a limiting belief, one or the other gives. Either we overcome the limiting belief and we kind of move into a different stage of our existence, or the limiting belief remains, and that nature becomes part of a shadow. It pretty much falls into, if you want to imagine it or visualize it, it becomes the shadow behind that limiting belief. And it's only when we kind of get to the point where we have developed enough resilience, learned about emotional intelligence, learned about, comfort and security in talking about emotion, talking about our intellect, talking about our experiences as a physical being as much as a spiritual being, that we can begin to deconstruct some of these aspects of self, including these limiting beliefs. So this kind of came up in the chat as we're talking about it, and the mentor group at the moment is engaging in a bit of work on this to kind of consider what are your limiting beliefs, which is why I wanted to kind of bring it here and do a chat video with yourselves and maybe ask you the question. Now, you don't have to answer to me. I'm not looking for homework from people, but it's worth considering for yourself the question, what are my limiting beliefs? What do I believe true about myself that restricts me? And it might be worth grab a pen and paper, grab something to try to jot them down, type them into a note on your phone. And the things, like, consider everything. And some of them you're like, no, this is actually part of my core identity. This is who and how I am. This is who and how I choose to be. Then that's not a limiting belief. That's an integrated part of who and what you are. The limiting beliefs are the things that, you have to do or you have to be in order to facilitate some connection, some relationship, or some survival within your existence. And again, they're not bad. They just are what they are. But in the absence of attention and awareness, that's when our limiting beliefs can actually become harmful to us, become, not harmful in a, okay, yeah, I'm kind of mealy mouthing around it a little bit. If we are not aware of our limiting beliefs, then we are not living to our full potential. We're not living to our capacity and our empowerment. And in a way, that is harmful because we're not being as honest and truthful with ourselves as we really can be. And this stuff is not easy to do. I'm still struggling a lot with it myself, which is why I thought, fuck it, why not share this with people and share the challenge that I'm going through? Because maybe some of you are going through a similar challenge, or maybe you've never heard of the concept of limiting beliefs before. But taking the time to kind of go through, go from the past, be it recent past or a conversation someone who had with you recently, if they ever said, "Oh, you're too much, you're too loud, you're too anything," they are presenting you, they are putting a limiting belief on you if you pick that up and believe it, which, I did. I carry around a whole load of, externally generated perspectives of me, which limit me, which restrict me. And, the first stage really is to try and get an idea of your list. What is it that's been handed to you? What do you believe in now about yourself that was presented to you or given to you? Or that you presented or gave to yourself, because that happens too. We get a negative reaction from someone that we respect, or we're looking for them to like us or to engage or to connect with them in some way, shape, or form. We get some kind of negative response from them. We then begin to alter and shift how we present ourselves, trying to accommodate or trying to move closer to a connection or a relationship that we're choosing for. We are generating limiting beliefs upon ourselves, needing because we want to conform to an external ideal. And so take the time, if you can, consider all of these things. What are my limiting beliefs? And then once you've done that step, don't stop there. And that's the crucial part. And this is what we see time and again with people who begin the journey of tackling their self in their sense of identity and their spiritual self, because this is what it leads to. Once you get through this work, you have a deeper understanding of who you are, and then that facilitates a deeper understanding of your spiritual connection to, God's guides and guardians. But once you start this work, don't stop. So many times people come up to against a list of limiting beliefs, a list of these things that make them very uncomfortable about themselves, and then they shy away from it. They're like, no, I don't. And the worst thing that happens at that is that they double down on the limiting belief instead of sticking with curiosity, sticking with the process of exploring in openness the possibility and the idea or the concept that they might not need the limiting beliefs at all. Because that's what you need to get to. It's once you've got your list of limiting beliefs down, you have to go through and take the time to consider, who am I without those beliefs? What would I be like? What potential of mine is being held back because of X, Y, and Z? How more fulfilled would I be in my sense of self, in my sense of, like, community, in my sense of relationships, in my sense of spirituality, if I was not living to these limiting beliefs, if I was without hesitation, without fear, without anyone's kind of restrictions placed upon me, what would you be? And that then is the other side of the scariness, because seeing ourselves living to our fullest potential can be very challenging. Suddenly we're no longer able to stay comfortable that I'm doing the best that I can where I am. Suddenly we see that there's a person that we could be if we pushed a little bit harder, if we tried something different. And that's where it leads to on the next stage of this limiting beliefs conversation. Because if you want change, you have to be willing to do something you've never done before. If you want to grow into being someone different who you are now, then you need to do different things. You can't just keep doing the same things and expect a miracle or a transformation or a transmutation or anything just to drop on you out of nowhere. And that's one thing we talk about at the Irish Pagan School. And that's like, when you hear us talk about doing the work, it's this kind of work. It's being aware of our sense of self, aware of our identity, aware of the aspects of our identity that were presented and put upon us that may no longer serve us anymore. And so when it comes to deepening our spirituality and deepening our spiritual connection to God's guides and guardians, it is crucially important that we know who we are first, that we're fully aware of ourself in as many aspects as we can, and comfortable with ourselves and connected with ourselves, so that when we experience messages from deity or anything like that at all, we're able to rationalize it and say, okay, well, this isn't my shadow work speaking to me. This isn't my limiting beliefs holding me back. This isn't, my ego telling me I'm bigger than I should be or bigger than I am. We're able to identify all of those aspects of self and recognize the voice or the conversation or the dialogue that is presented by that aspect of self to such a degree that when something else comes in, we know it's not us. So all of this work is crucially important, and being able to kind of step into that kind of structure is difficult. To be honest, folks, I'm still struggling with it, and I'm doing this years. But it's important not to stop. And we see it time and again with students who come to us at the Irish Pagan School. They start on the journey. They begin taking, say, the guided journey practices with Lora O'Brien at the school, which are fantastically built and properly structurally built to help you do this work. If you're not doing the guided journey, the level one guided journey is free. Go to the Irish Pagan School and irishpagan.school/free. You can pick up a whole lot of free resources there. But the level one guided meditation is designed, this journey work is designed to get to know yourself best. So then when you do have those experiences, when you do go through and come across these uncomfortable aspects of self, because we all have them, every single one of us has them. The only problem with that is if we let those limiting beliefs or those shadow aspects of self dictate our actions and dictate our responses, either through fear moving us to inactivity or through fear or anger moving us to negative actions. Like, there are so many different things that we can unfortunately hold ourselves back in because we haven't taken the brave steps forward to do something we've never done before, because we're not ready to change. And again, if some of this is ringing a bell for you, great, I'm delighted. But if this is making you uncomfortable, I'm also delighted, because it's an opportunity for you to consider why you are uncomfortable by this conversation. No one is expecting anything of you. No one is demanding that you fill in homework and reply in the comments down below telling me about how you've overcome your shadow self recently in the last 2 days. Fucking no. No one is wanting that. But what I would offer is that, if some of this video has made sense to you or has sat with you, take on board the opportunity. List out some limiting beliefs. List out some beliefs you have of yourself which hold you back, which make you smaller. And you'll probably find that most of those aren't generated by you, they're generated by other people who have put them on you. But then keep going with that work and consider what you would be, who you would be, how you would be in this life if those beliefs, those limiting beliefs, did not apply to you anymore. And then if you see something, if that person is something you see as wanting, as a goal, or if that person on the other side of it is someone that you aspire, or that you are, sorry, I'm stumbling over this because I'm going through it myself at the moment. If the person you see on the other side of this work is someone you want to be, someone you look up to, someone who inspires you, then you know what you need to do. You need to overcome the limiting beliefs by not believing in them anymore, by changing the narrative about yourself, and by choosing to be the version of you that you want to be, that you can be. So it's been a very interesting conversation with the mentees in that fireside circle that I have going on. As I said, I'm going through this all, doing this work myself here, and that's why I thought I would come and I would actually share that with you there today. Um, do pop on down. If I'm going to give you one resource, if you do nothing else apart from maybe like this video or whatever else, or like thumbs up or share the podcast if you think you know someone who this will help. But if you do nothing else for yourself, the level 1 free guided journey at the Irish Pagan School, absolutely worthwhile. It is a tool that you can build a habit on that will allow you to get to know you better, and hopefully open the pathway for you to find that better version of yourself and to connect with it and move towards it. So I will say, Gaurav Mahaka, thank you very much for being with me here. I am John O'Sullivan of the Irish Pagan School. I look forward to hearing from you if you want to share something down in the comments below. But again, no expectations, no demands. Look after yourself. And until next time, Slán. Goodbye.